The buzz that shattered everything. They say betrayal doesn't come with a scream. It arrives quietly, like a buzz. A single text, buzz that slips into your evening and changes everything you thought you knew. It was late September, and we were having one of those routine Thursday nights. Emily had made pasta, Lily was humming while building her Lego castle on the floor, and I had just turned on a football game. It was ordinary, almost dull. I would give anything to go back to that dullness now. The buzz came from her phone on the kitchen counter. She stiffened, not in a big way, just a tiny twitch of her shoulders and the way her eyes darted toward the phone like a child caught stealing candy. I wouldn't have noticed if I weren't already feeling something off. She smiled quickly, said, "Probably the hospital," and walked over to check it. Emily's a nurse practitioner. Calls at all hours aren't strange. But this one, she didn't open a message right away. She just turned the phone face down. And there it was. That little buzz buried itself under my skin and stayed there. I didn't say anything then. Just smiled, nodded. But the air had changed. The warmth had left the room. That night, she turned her back to me in bed. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, trying not to think about the silence between us. The doubts began slow. A skipped lunch date, extra shifts, locked phone screens, and new passwords. They pile up, these tiny betrayals, until you're swimming in them. Drowning, but trying to look okay. One Saturday morning, while Emily was at work and Lily was with my parents, I opened her laptop. It used to be our shared device. Now it was locked. I tried the old password. Wrong. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe work security had changed. Maybe she just forgot to mention it. But it kept nagging at me. Then, the moment that shifted everything. She left her iPad open one night while showering. A notification popped up from someone named Jay. I don't know why I looked. I shouldn't have, but I did. Last night, I could still feel you. My body went cold. The iPad was old, synced with her phone. She must have forgotten. A digital trail from another world. One where I didn't exist. I scrolled. I wish I hadn't. The messages weren't graphic, but they didn't need to be. Emotionally intimate. Flirty. Familiar. Months worth. I hate when we can't sleep next to each other. You're the only thing keeping me sane. I dreamed about you again. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the iPad. I just sat there, reading, while my heart broke in silence. When she walked out of the bathroom in her robe, humming, toweling her hair dry, she looked so normal, so unchanged. I said nothing that night, but inside me, everything was starting to burn. I planned a confrontation for 3 days. I rehearsed it in the car, in the shower, even while playing Legos with Lily. But when the moment came, nothing went to plan. It was a Tuesday. I waited until Lily was asleep. Emily was on the couch, feet up, wine glass in hand. I sat across from her. I saw your messages with Jay. She froze. I'll never forget the look in her eyes. It wasn't anger. It wasn't even shame. It was fear. Pure, raw fear. She opened her mouth, closed it, then finally whispered, "I was going to end it." I laughed, bitter. "That's the first thing you say." She stood up, pacing. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear to God, Michael. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. Over and over." "I know," she cried. "I know I did. It started when you were gone for work. Those long trips to Texas last spring. We were barely talking. I was lonely. Then James started being kind. He noticed me. I was invisible for so long." Her words felt like acid. I wanted to yell, to scream that I had been working for us, for our family. That I had stayed faithful while she ran to another man. But I didn't scream. I just asked the one thing that had taken root in my mind. "Do you love him?" Her face crumpled. "No," she said. "God, no." "Then why him?" I said, my voice shaking. "Why anyone but me?" Her voice was quiet. "Because I stopped feeling like a person, and he made me feel seen. That's all it was. A selfish, awful escape." We sat in silence. The clock ticked loudly. Outside, a car passed by. The world went on. "I ended it," she said again. 2 weeks ago. I couldn't live with myself anymore. But you didn't tell me. I couldn't. I thought if I buried it, if I gave you more time, maybe I'd find the courage. I nodded. My chest felt hollow. "You destroyed something in me," I said, standing up. "I don't know if it can be fixed." Emily reached for my hand. "Michael, I'm begging you, don't let this be the end of us. I'll go to therapy. I'll quit my job. Anything. I just want a chance." I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold on either. I need space, I said. I'm going to stay at my parents' for a while. She broke then, felt her knees, sobbing. I love you, she said through tears. I never stopped. I believed her. That was the hardest part. At my parents' house, I didn't sleep much. My dad poured me whiskey and said, "If you walk away, I won't blame you. But if you stay, you need to be sure you can forgive." My mother was quieter. Don't rush anything. Let her pain breathe. And so I did. For a week, I avoided home. I texted Lily daily, called her every night. Emily never reached out, except to send one message. "I won't bother you. I'll wait. Just please don't give up on us." I almost deleted it. Then, a phone call changed everything. It was a Thursday morning. I was at the gas station. Emily's sister, April, called me. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. "Michael," she said, her voice shaking, "I think you should know something." "What is it?" I didn't want to get involved, but I saw Emily with him, with James, months ago, and it wasn't the first time. "What are you saying?" She hesitated. "She told you it was just a few months, right?" "Yeah." April exhaled. "They've been seeing each other longer than that. At least a year. Maybe more." My heart stopped. "And Michael," she paused again, "there's one more thing. I don't know if it means anything. But the night Lily was conceived, Emily and I had a fight. She stormed off, went out drinking. Said she needed to feel alive. The silence was deafening. "What are you saying?" I asked, eyes crawling down my spine. "I don't know," she said. "I just thought you should hear it from me." The line went dead. I sat in my car for a long time. A single, horrifying question bloomed in my mind. What if Lily isn't mine? I felt sick, cold, angry at myself for even thinking it, but the doubt, once born, wouldn't die. She wouldn't lie about that, would she? I drove to the nearest pharmacy. Hands shaking, I bought a paternity test kit. At my parents' house that night, I waited until Lily visited. We were watching cartoons when I gently asked her to swab the inside of her cheek, made it a spit game. She giggled. Innocent, trusting. I sent it off that night. Now, I'm waiting. I haven't told Emily. I haven't told anyone. And in 5 days, I'll have my answer, whether I want it or not. What the test can't tell you. The email arrived at 6:08 a.m. I was already awake. I hadn't slept. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling all night, the air stale and full of memories I couldn't shut off. I kept replaying Lily's smile the night before, her tiny hands wrapped around my finger, her voice singing off-key as she washed her hands before dinner. And still, despite everything I knew and everything I feared, I opened that email. I clicked the PDF, and there it was. Probability of paternity, 0%. Zero. Nothing. Not mine. I stared at the screen, waiting for it to change, waiting for some error to appear, waiting for the universe to whisper, "Just kidding." It didn't. I pressed a hand over my mouth, not out of shock, but to stop the noise that rose up from somewhere deep, somewhere primal. A sob, when I hadn't given myself permission to feel. Until now, I didn't tell Emily. Not that day. Not the next. I returned home 2 days later. Not for her, but for Lily. I told Emily I needed to be back under the same roof for my daughter's sake. I didn't tell her I already knew the truth. She seemed surprised, but didn't question it. Maybe she was afraid of asking too much too soon. She gave me space, avoided touching me, didn't even try to speak unless it was about Lily. And I played along. Not because I forgave her, but because I didn't know what else to do. It felt like we were ghosts haunting a house that used to be full of life. Lily, of course, noticed something was off. Kids always do. She became more clingy. Drew pictures of the three of us holding hands. Asked why we didn't have pancakes together anymore. Each time, Emily and I put on smiles. Pretended we were fine. But the fracture was still there. In every glance. In every silence. In every night, I slept on the guest bed staring at the ceiling. And in every moment, I carried the weight of the result in my chest like a ticking bomb. It took me 4 days to say the words out loud. We were in the kitchen. Lily was upstairs coloring. The house was quiet. Emily was wiping down the counter, even though it was already spotless. I sat at the table, staring at my hands. Then I said it. "I know she's not mine." She froze. Time stopped. She didn't speak. Not for several seconds. Then her fingers went limp, and the rag fell from her hand. I don't know what you mean. I looked up slowly. I did a paternity test. Her face drained of color. She leaned back against the sink as though it had physically hit her. You tested Lily? She whispered. I had to, I said quietly. I had to know. She closed her eyes, tears welling. I'm sorry, she said. That's all. No defense. No rage. Just sorrow. And that told me everything I needed to know. You knew, I said. All these years. You suspected. And you let me raise her, love her, as my own. I hoped, she whispered. I prayed. I told myself she looked like you. And when she smiled like you, I just believed. Or tried to. But you didn't know. No, she said. I didn't. I was too scared to find out. I stood up. My chair scraped loudly across the floor. She's not mine, Emily. Her voice cracked. But she's still yours, Michael. She's yours. I pressed my fingers to my temple. Don't you dare try to guilt me with that. I'm not, she said, stepping forward. I swear. I'm just saying the truth. You're the only father she's ever known. You're the one who held her when she had fevers. You taught her to ride a bike. You stayed up until 2 a.m. making a cardboard castle for her birthday party. My voice shook, and I would do it again. Every second of it. But you robbed me of the choice. I know, she said, breaking down. And I will never forgive myself for it. I turned away. My hands trembled. My stomach churned with a grief I couldn't even describe. It wasn't just about the affair. It was about everything. The life we built that wasn't entirely real. The child I loved more than life itself, who wasn't biologically mine. And the woman who let me believe she was. That night, I didn't sleep. I stood in Lily's doorway and watched her for hours. She was curled up with her bunny plush, mouth slightly open, hair spread out like a halo. She was beautiful. She was perfect. And she was mine. Not by blood. By choice. By every bedtime story. By every scraped knee. By love. Something shifted in me then. Something deep. I still hated Emily for what she'd done. But Lily I would never leave. No matter what. The next morning, I asked Emily to sit with me in the backyard. She looked nervous, like she expected divorce papers. Instead, I told her the truth. I'm not leaving Lily, I said. Her lip trembled. I know, she said. You're her father. You always will be. But I don't know what to do about you, I said. She swallowed hard. I understand. I don't know if I can ever forgive you. Or trust you. I don't expect you to. But I'll keep trying. As long as you'll let me. I studied her face. This woman who had broken me. And yet, was still the mother of my child. Still the person I once loved enough to marry. I want to go to therapy, I said. Marriage counseling. An individual. She nodded instantly. Yes. Whatever you need. I'm not making promises. I added. We're not okay. But I'm willing to see if we can rebuild something. Even if it's not what we had. She reached across the table, but stopped short. Waiting. After a moment, I let her take my hand. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't forgiveness. It was acknowledgement that something might still be salvageable. The weeks that followed were quiet. Painful, but not hopeless. Therapy was raw. Brutal. I hated most of it. But little by little, I started speaking again. I started understanding her pain. And my own. Emily opened up about the night Lily was conceived. How she drank too much. How it wasn't James. It was a stranger. One night mistake. A secret she'd carried alone for years. I told her that didn't make it better. She agreed. We talked about everything. The loneliness. The years we lost to silence. The damage we both did, even without knowing it. It wasn't healing. Not yet. But it was something. A path. One night, 2 months later, Lily was coloring at the table while we cooked dinner side by side. Emily was chopping onions. I was stirring the sauce. We weren't talking. But the silence wasn't heavy like before. It was companionable. Familiar. Then Lily piped up. Are you and Mommy best friends again? We both paused. Emily looked at me. I looked at Lily. And for the first time in months, I smiled. We're working on it, sweetheart. Lily beamed. Emily wiped her eyes. We went back to cooking. But something had shifted. Something was healing. The choice that remains. 2 years. That's how long it's been since the truth detonated in my life like a slow bomb. 2 years since I found out my wife had cheated on me. 2 years since I found out the daughter I raised, cherished, and protected wasn't mine by blood, but still mine in every way that counts. We didn't get back together right away. In fact, there were months when I was sure we wouldn't make it. Months I couldn't look at Emily without seeing betrayal. There were also moments of softness, quiet mornings where we sat in the same room again, shared laughter over Lily's antics. The rhythm of family began to slowly return, even while trust stayed shattered. We lived under the same roof, but in different emotional galaxies. Until one night, when something happened that changed everything again. It was around 10 p.m. Lily was asleep. I was in the living room, flipping through channels, but not watching anything. Just noise to block out my thoughts. Emily came in quietly and stood there, wringing her hands like she used to when we were kids. "I need to tell you something," she said. I looked up, guarded. She sat down, trembling. "It's about James." I stiffened. She hadn't spoken his name in months. Not since counseling began. I thought we were past it. Thought the ghost had been buried. "What about him?" I asked carefully. She inhaled. Her eyes welled. "He tried to contact me again." A heat rose in my chest. "When?" "2 weeks ago," she whispered. I stood up, my fists clenched. "And you just now telling me?" I ignored him. I swear. I didn't reply. I deleted the message. I stared at her, breathing hard. "I didn't want to set you back," she said. "Didn't want to make it worse." "You made it worse by hiding it." She stood too. I was scared. Of what, Emily? Of being honest again. She didn't answer. And for a moment, I was right back there, in the pit, drowning in lies. But then, something in her expression stopped me. It wasn't fear of getting caught. It was shame, the kind you don't fake. "I know I messed everything up," she whispered. "But I'm still fighting. Every day. For us. For our family." I looked away. My vision blurred. My chest burned. Then I said the thing I'd never said out loud. "I don't know if I love you anymore." It hit her like a slap. She didn't cry. She just nodded. "I understand." That night, I didn't sleep again. I went into Lily's room, sat beside her, watched her chest rise and fall. And for the first time, I let myself ask, what if I left? Really left? What would she remember? Would she hate me? Would she know it wasn't her fault? The next morning, I packed a bag. Told Emily I needed space. Real space. She didn't fight me. Didn't beg. Just said, "Okay, I'll be here. Always." And that was the last thing I heard from her for a long time. I moved into a small apartment on the edge of town. Saw Lily on weekends. Helped with school drop-offs. Attended her little ballet recitals. Emily and I stayed civil. Polite, but distant. She never dated. I didn't either. People told me I should. That I deserved a fresh start. But I wasn't ready. And maybe, deep down, I didn't want one. 6 months passed. Then a year. One day, I was at Lily's school for a parent conference. The teacher mentioned something that caught me off guard. "She's writing a story," she said, smiling, "about a knight who gets lost and finds his way back to his castle." I chuckled. "Classic Lily." She said, "It's about you," the teacher added gently. I blinked. Then I read the story. Crayon scrawled and messy, but the message was clear. My daddy is the bravest. He went away to find his heart. And then he came back because he loves me and my mommy. That night, I cried in the car. Not because of what she wrote, but because I wasn't sure if it could still come true. It took me another 3 months to go back. Not to stay, just to talk. Emily opened the door. She looked older, tired, but calm, like someone who'd finally learned how to live with what she broke. "Hi," I said. She smiled softly. "Hey." I stepped inside. Lily came running down the stairs and jumped into my arms. She still did that, even at 8. I stayed for dinner. Then again the next week. And then one night, Lily was at a sleepover, and it was just the two of us again. Emily Boretea. We sat in silence. Then she said, "I'm not asking for anything. Not anymore. But I still love you." I didn't answer right away. Then, quietly, I said, "I don't know if I love you the way I used to." She nodded. "That's okay. But I think I love the person you're becoming." She looked up, eyes wide, hope flickering. "And I think I'm not done becoming either," I added. We sat there for hours, talking, not about the past, but about now, about Lily, about who we were, who we wanted to be. It wasn't a reunion. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was a beginning, a broken, scarred, painfully honest beginning. A year later, we renewed our vows. Not in a church, not in front of dozens of people, just us and Lily, at the park where I first kissed Emily when we were 19. We didn't promise to forget the past. We promised to carry it, to learn from it, to grow from it, to keep choosing each other again and again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. So here we are now. Not perfect, not always happy, but real. And for the first time in a long time, that's enough. The end.